So this is my third now handmade sketchbooks, and I have a video about how do I make these sketchbooks. I started doing them, I won't go into too much about it, but I started doing them because the little sketchbooks that I used to pop into my bag, the Stillman Burns, they were starting to increase in price, and I was going through them really quickly. It's the one type of paper inside, naturally, and I had so many pads of paper and rolls of paper that I hadn't been using that I got on sale or was given, so I thought I would put them to use by cutting them up and creating these sketchbooks. And so that's what I've done. It's pretty easy to do, and it's nice to be able to put different papers in as well. So this one's taken quite a while to finish, from March 21st to July 20th. Mostly because I just haven't had time. I keep going on about this like I'm some sort of saint, but I've had to look after my mom, and it's just been like lots of doctor's appointments. In the beginning it was, visiting her every day in the hospital. So when the weather started getting warm and I would have been out more, I wasn't. And then I got, in happy news, I got a studio. And so I've been spending a lot of time there when I've had the time, working on other things, painting in oils. So again, I haven't been out very much, but I will be making another one. And I usually have one getting ready to be made before I finish, but I didn't realize how quickly I would finish it at the end of last week. So this is a sticker that came from a beer that my husband had, and I can't remember the beer company, but it came with a really cute sticker, so I put that on there. And that's a sticker from, I think, a Scrawler box that I had, and that's stamp that I made for myself, but I'm still not sure about. So we open with spring. I always have a card for how to get in touch with me, in case you find this. And I did a little introduction page, as it was spring when I first started this, although still cold. And the first thing that I did was sit in Neo Coffee Bar one day and just sketched the baristas and people coming in and out. I love the coffee here, it's fantastic, and it's a really nice spot. Then we got to Edward's Gardens. This was all before things started happening. It was a really nice day for March 30th. It's very sunny, so I had some time to sketch. And then this was when it wasn't probably so nice out. I did a couple, this one's based on a Pixabay photo, and I just worked in gouache for that. This one is based on one of my Miami photos, just playing around with media. And this was a sketch of the Kin Studios. My studio's part of the Kin projects, where they go to different developers or owners and get a reduction on rents for places that are going to be developed or knocked down eventually, and so they can rent it out to artists. So this one is the Bathurst number 201, which I started at on April 1st, and I just had a kind of co-working, I forget what they called it, a shared space, so that it's sort of like a co-working space. You could come in whenever you wanted, but you didn't have a permanent spot, so you could leave some things there, but not very much, understandably. So I was there, but I knew or heard that they were going to be opening one near me, and so that's where I moved to, and now I have a permanent space. Well, permanent for how long, we don't know. And then one day I took myself to George Brown near me. One of their buildings is their catering sommelier buildings, and they have these test kitchens downstairs that you can look down from the cafe. And this was Queen Street West when I was out there at that other studio. I just sketched from a patio and just playing around with things. This was the Landscape Art Club prompt on Instagram. Then one day my husband was away, and I decided to treat myself to a movie matinee, and the cafe at the TIFF Lightbox overlooks King Street, so I drew the old shops and restaurants from above. And then I treated this page before I went out, and then one day I sketched the Augusta Fruit Market and Kensington Market from a patio. And this one was from a photo provided by I think Eleanor, Doughty, and Jenny Adam, who are going to be doing a workshop in Portugal, and this is a spot in Portugal. This was another playing around with gouache and portraiture based on a photo from Pixabay, which is a copyright-free photo library. And then playing with gouache again, different media. I think that was another Pixabay or another one of those photo libraries. And then these were also, again, the Landscape Art Club. People send in photos, and there's usually a place that they focus on every week, and then you can paint it. And Finn is being a pain. Sec. Go to your pillow, mister. Pillow time. There he goes. Yes. Good boy. Yes. Let's see him. There's a good boy. Yes. So I think this was places in India. And another sketching from Queen Street West. This I treated beforehand with acrylic, and then I went over it with Daniel Smith has a transparent watercolor ground, so that makes it easier to go on top of acrylic. Then May 1st, I did a quick trip down to probably above ground art supply and sat for a few minutes and drew on the Starbucks patio. This was outside Metro Hall, and on colored paper I also put in here. And I believe I treated this beforehand, and then the Landscape Art Club had something that just fit this perfectly. So I did this painting based on a photo from Australia. And this one I did while sitting across the street. This is, I'm trying to think of the name of that restaurant. I should know it because I pass it almost every day on the way to my studio. And this is further down the street. This is Henrietta Lane. And then while sitting at Henrietta Lane, I did this sketch that was also pre-treated with think this was a Liquitex ink, and on this cream colored paper. The cream colored paper wasn't very good for watercolors, so it was nice to be able to put the Daniel Smith ground on top of that, even if I wasn't using, this was all colored pencil, and I think maybe some Neo color. And this was also from the Landscape Art Club, and it was the same as this spot in Australia. And I had this pink down as well beforehand, so they both worked out really well. And then I just love drawing fish for some reason. I don't know why. And again, this I put down before I knew what I was going to draw. More fish. And I live near the Distillery District, so I was able to do a quick, they had a jazz band playing, so I was able to do a quick sketch while I was there. And then just messing about with the cats, as you saw one of them, Sadie and Finn. Sitting on patio outside Rooster Coffee on Broadview one day, just did a really quick sketch. It was very busy. It's always very busy on the weekends. And this is sitting across the street at another cafe, Mercury Espresso Bar, and I did, this is a Pentel brush pen, and again I had treated the background beforehand. That has nothing, because this started transferring onto it. And this I was playing with Wax Resist. I think it's just a Neo Color 1 that I did. There was a London Drawing Group workshop where the artist was using that a lot, and I just liked the effect, the random line effect. And this is based on a photo that I took when we were in Zion National Park. More pre-treating, and then sketching in Grange Park while I was with another sketching friend. I think she loaned me this pinkish color pen. And then the CNE had a few walking tours, sketching tours with an architect back in May and June. And this is one that after, I forget which one we did first, we focused on certain buildings, and I did one and then I went to do some of the other buildings around, or the band shell. And this was another day where we were focusing on the music building behind me, but I also did the fire building and this, I think it's a hydro building or something. And another one just based on one of my photos that I took in Dijon, France. I think that's my husband right there. It was in their main food market. This one, I don't know why I chose this, but this was from Pixbay. I think I was just looking for things to, there's one maybe rainy day that I was just looking for something to do, something to sketch. Again, this was pre-treated beforehand, and I think has Daniel Smith on top, and it's a combination of Liquitex Muted Gray and Gelatos, and it's based on Pixabay images of veggies, or fruit, as some would know it. Again, pre-treating this, and then I started to do some of the media that I used that was on my desk. That's a Fude pen that I'm not too happy with at the moment. the water or the ink doesn't seem to be flowing into it very well. And this was based on a photo I took in the Jardin du Luxembourg in Paris. Again, this was pre-treated with different media, and then I went over top of it. I did put little bits of brown paper that I happened to have, and I just stuck them in, and then a while later I did this sketch of people sitting at a picnic table in St. Lawrence Market. I think this guy was also maybe St. Lawrence Market. No, that was actually the other Neo coffee bar on Spadina. And then these were the World Street View images that Jenny Adam and Eleanor Doughty, I think it's the first Thursday of every month that they do this. And this one was in Istanbul, and this was Ulaanbaatar images. Brewster Cafe again on another visit. Then I was sitting having a bite before an urban sketching event, and so I did this one at Broadview in Danforth. This was Rosetta McLean Park in June. This wasn't pre-treated. This I just went over with Tombow markers, some of the greens, and then went from there. Just playing around with tinted charcoal and Inktense pencils. Quick little sketch of Sugar Beach nearby. This was the Luminato setup at Metro Hall around King Street West. And they just had these really colorful blow-up balls strung along. That was started, but they moved. These were based on Emma Carlisle had become a Patreon, a patron of her Patreon channel, and she had a whole thing, an event for doing chickens. This is also at Broadview in Danforth. I think this was the day of the Urban Sketchers. No, I went here because I went to Midoco down the street. And then I had a quick bite and did this sketch from across the street. And then a friend's daughter is really into sketching, so we went out and sat in the Metro Hall area, and I sketched various buildings that I could see from where we were sitting. So that's Roy Thompson Hall, that's the Royal Alex Theatre. This was during one of the Urban Sketchers events that were at the Well, but my friend and I were sitting at that Neo coffee bar, and so I sketched the buildings across the street. And we're back to Metro Hall, because these, you know, it depended on what paper I wanted to work on or what paper I had pre-treated, so they're not in absolute chronological order. Or if I wanted to work on a spread. So we're back on the same day. This was last Thursday, and David Pico Square was where we were sitting. That's the actual name of the Metro Hall Park, and that's a kind of quirky condo building across the street with sculpture to the side, and then Roy Thompson Hall's sign and St. Andrew's Church. And then the very last one became a 3 material challenge that's been going on. I didn't set out to participate in that, but I didn't want to bring too much with me to the park. It's not very far away, but I wanted to read as well as sketch. So I just happened to work with only 3 materials. So there is color pencil and then 2 different tempera paint sticks that I did. And that's just looking over the beautiful little pond that they have in the park, and then the buildings and the hydro line in the background. And that is it. That's the end of this particular spring, start of summer sketchbook. So that is it for now. Thanks so much, and remember to check out my other sketchbook tours and my website. My website has a lot of things for fellow artists, including what I take when I'm urban sketching, what art books I've reviewed, what artists I follow on Instagram, what artists that inspire me from the past and present, and a lot more. So check it out. Thanks so much. Bye.